What is going on, y'all, and welcome to Burning Meat Barbecue. Today, we're going to be taking you through a smoked Texas specialty, and that is the shortcut short rib. These are fresh from a butcher here in Belleville, Texas. So today we're going to put a good smoke on them and show you exactly how to make this short rib be the best bite you've ever had. So let's get into it. Okay, so we've got everything we're going to use here today. We've got our beef short rib, our trimming knife, we've got our binder. We're going to do a little test on that. We're going to put a binder on one half of them. We're not going to put a binder on the other half. We've got our meat probes, our spices, simple. Salt and pepper today, that's all these need. They're going to get that savory, smoky flavor straight out of the Pit Boss, so we don't need anything else when it comes to flavor. We'll put a little barbecue sauce on at the end if we need it, but that is for you to decide. Let me know in the comments below. Y'all put barbecue sauce on your short ribs. We also have our heat gloves and our trimming gloves, orange as always. So with that, let's go ahead and get gloved up and get this meat trimmed. Now you don't need to do a lot of trimming on the short ribs. It really just depends on how your butcher cut them or what your local butcher shop prefers when they do the different cuts as far as fat content. I'm going to show you on this one. So we've got a good meaty layer here. We also have a layer of silver skin. So that silver skin's got to come off. You've also got a membrane silver skin on the bottom, but that's right against the bone, so that's not going to matter anyway. Anytime you have that, it's not a big deal. On these, you can see there's all that fat cap. The fat cap on this one, same thing. This one is a little bit thicker of a fat cap, so we're going to go ahead and trim that up. So let's get to it. We're just going to want to get right under that skin and take that off. This one's going to have a big fat layer on it, so we're going to take all that off actually. There's not much meat we're taking off there, so we'll just get rid of all that. Now if you do have a hard fat cap or a fatty piece where it's not membrane or silver skin, you can go ahead and leave that. That's going to taste just fine. That's going to render out with your meat, so you don't really need to worry about anything with that. Just want to get that nasty gummy membrane off so you don't get chewy bites later on. Like that. That one's just a fat cap. This is the one that's kind of the worst. So now what we're going to do is get our seasoning on. So for our left side, we're going to go ahead and put a binder on. We're going to use mustard as a binder. For our right side, just salt and pepper. Let's go. Don't need a ton of this here. Just something to get a little bit to stick to. Today we are using the Pit Boss vertical smoker. We're going to put these on the top rack. They're going to be smoking up top. We are going to go 90 minutes at the very beginning of straight smoke of the super smoke. And after 90 minutes of super smoke, we're going to take it up to 275 and do them a little hotter and faster, just so we can get these off in 3 to 4 hours if everything works out right. Now, you're putting something on the smoker. You never know what's going to happen. We had a huge storm blow through earlier. The wind's up. It may take 3-4 hours. It may take 5 hours. It may take 6 hours. If there's one thing I can promise you, it's do not rush your smoker. You want to get this right, not just get it on time, although sometimes things work out. So, let's get our salt. We are using coarse salt today. You want to get all sides of these. Now, you don't need to mind, don't worry about getting too much salt on it. As the fat renders, some of that salt's going to run off, but you want your meat to absorb as much of that flavor as possible. Salt and pepper, Texas style barbecue. No garlic today, no fancy powders today. We've got a rib video coming up where we're going to use a blueberry glaze though, and I'm pretty stoked about that. Alright, now on to the no binder. Look at that beautiful piece of meat right there. Look at that beautiful short rib. How awesome is that? Good coating of salt on them. We could have came back with a finer salt, but I really like the way this coarse salt takes to the meat and the way it creates a good, nice crust on the outside. And after your crust sets, it's just a really, really good flavor. All right, now we're going to hit them with the pepper. You want to get a good pepper crust on there, good coating of pepper. Don't worry. Same thing. This is going to create a crust. It's going to render, it's going to sear on the outside, and it's going to create a delicious crust. Get all sides of it there. We got a bunch on the board here, so we'll just rotate it to get that. Now, if y'all have ever smoked short ribs, let me know in the comments below how they turned out. I'd love to see other people's results and hear about unique styles and techniques that you might have used. I'm really looking forward to maybe making a little bourbon barbecue sauce for these, but that'll be in a different episode. Today is all about the short rib. Now, we do have our butcher paper out here. Depending on how fast these cook, at some point we may wrap them, we may not. We're going to see how the cook goes and see how I feel once we get to about 185, see how they're looking. If they're starting to dry up or if they're starting to get more burned or done on the outside than I like, then we will definitely go ahead and wrap these. But I don't think we're going to need to. So with that, let's go ahead and get these on the barbecue pit and get them smoking low and slow for the first 90 minutes. We are going to set this to power smoke. And one thing I forgot to tell you that we are going to do is we're actually going to put a probe into our one of each type. And we're going to put those probes in so we know exactly how the cook's going the entire time. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the ones with the binder on first, and then we'll go ahead and put the ones with no binder. And we're going to go rib down to the grate. Okay, we'll get these in there. All right, so let's go ahead and get these power smoking. And we will check back in 90 minutes. All right, so we're gonna let those start smoking for the first 90 minutes, do a little bit of cleanup here, and I will check back in with you. We'll see how the progress looks in an hour and a half. All right, y'all, it has been 90 minutes of smoke and an hour at 225. We are currently temping, I don't know if you can see that. We are currently temping 155 and 142 respectively on our different short ribs. So we are going to go ahead and open the smoker up. We're going to take a look at the progress we've made so far. We're going to crank it up to 275, and we're going to go ahead and get these finished to 200 to 205 so that we can rest them and have them for dinner. Now, something I didn't tell you before is that we are using the Traeger Championship Blend pellets in the Pit Boss. That's one of my favorite combinations, especially for beef. So let's take a look at this. Let's see how it's doing. And let's get you a little bit of an update. Let's glove up for this one. All right, here we go. Boy, look at that. They're looking good. That fat is starting to render. I think those are going to be delicious in about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So let's get the heat cranked up on this. The fat is starting to render. Our water pan has a little bit left in it, but it's starting to run out, so we'll get that corrected rather quick. All right. So let's crank the heat up, and I will be back to show you these short ribs in just a little bit. All right, y'all, we're at our first conundrum of the cook. We've got the temperature probes from the Thermomaven. One of them's reading 196, one of them's reading 171. We need to open this up and take a look at exactly what we have. We need to put the Thermopen in and see where we're temping out. We've probably got some that are smaller that are ready to come off. We've got some that need to go a little longer, so the ones that come off, we're gonna wrap in our pink butcher paper. Link in the description below if you want that thermopaper or anything else you see in this video. But we're gonna go ahead and open this up, get a temp on a couple of the different ribs. These are short ribs, so they're smaller, so they don't take as long to cook. They also tend to not be as uniform in size. So we're gonna open this up, get some different temperatures. The Thermopens are a little bit exposed to the grill temperature because they're such small pieces, so we don't know exactly where our temperature's at. That's where this comes in. So let's get some temperatures and see exactly what we need to do right now. Okay, that one's at 197. This one with the Thermopen in it, still a little sticky, 188. 202. That one is butter. That one's done. That one's got to come off. That one's butter. That one's ready to come off. Left. Right. Still a little sticky. That one's not quite there. I can tell by the pen going in. Close, but not there. Not there. This one's not going to be there either. You can tell by the way the temperature feels when you put the pen in. If it's not buttery smooth, it is not done. That one is butter, that one is done. Right side. Okay, so we're gonna let those start to rest. We're gonna get them wrapped up. We're gonna leave these to go for a little bit longer. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap these up in butcher paper. Nothing crazy, we just need something to hold the heat. We're just going to let those sit while we wait on everything else to come out. Alright y'all, it's about time for everything else to come off. We are temping on the probes at 203, so we're going to go ahead and put the Thermopen into them and see where we're at, see if they're ready to come off. I'll be back in just a minute. We're going to put everything out here on the cutting board, slice them up, see what we got, separate the fat, and give you that one best bite. Ooh. That one's temping a little light, but it's going in like butter. That one's not quite there. That one is done, done, done. Right side. That one went in like butter. I'm guessing it's done. Yep, and our pen's in that one. And that's pen 1. That's the one that said it was at 196. That one's done. That's our 4 on the left. We've got our 2 on the right, left. This one is temping low. But the way that it's cooked, I mean, I feel like it's got to come off. In the midpoint of this one, it's just temping a little low, but we're going to go ahead and take it off. We're going to take it off just to be safe. And with that, we've got everything off. we're going to go ahead and get everything unwrapped, let these sit here and rest, and we'll be back in about 15 to 30 minutes and give you that first best bite. All right, so we are back. Let's go ahead and get a couple of these short ribs sliced up. Give it a try. We want to see if there's any difference in the ones on the left, which are the ones that got the binder, the ones on the right, which did not get the binder. And we want to see just how this recipe tastes. Simple salt and pepper short rib recipe. So we did 90 minutes of straight smoke, then we did an hour at 225, and then we cranked it up to 275 for another 3 hours or so until they were finished. So let's see how these taste. We do have our Sato slicing utensils. These are some of the best knives. I absolutely love them. Couldn't recommend them more. Now, these are a fattier cut of meat. These short ribs do have a lot of fat in them. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that first bite. This is going to be my first bite right here off of this side. And this is going to be my first bite off of this side. We're going to see if there's any difference. Let's go ahead and slide those up. We can take our probes out. We are done cooking. So let's see just how well the Pit Boss did cooking these Texas style shortcut short ribs. Oh my God. That is absolute butter. Phenomenal crust. I don't know if you can see that. Phenomenal crust, a lot of fat content, but absolutely delicious. Now let's go over here. That crust set up so well, it's almost crunchy. Oh, that is one of my favorite first bite, best bites. But with that, that's how you cook a Texas style short rib. If y'all haven't done this, you've got to give it a try. Coarse salt, lots of pepper, big bark, big crust. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.